Imagine waking up tomorrow, no alarm. No school. No office. No money. No boss, just another sunrise. Sounds like freedom, right? No meetings.no, deadlines.no, emails waiting, nobody telling you where to be. For a moment, it almost sounds like the perfect life. But ancient humans weren't on vacation, they had a much bigger problem. If nobody worked today, nobody would eat tonight. Ancient humans didn't have jobs, but every single person had work to do. Nobody handed out assignments and nobody paid a salary, nature decided everything. Every sunrise asked exactly the same question: how will you survive today? This wasn't just another day, every decision could mean the difference between eating or starving. And surprisingly, finding food wasn't even the biggest job they had. The first job of the day was finding breakfast, but unlike today, breakfast wasn't waiting for them. Every single plant, every berry, every root had to be recognized perfectly. One mistake could be deadly. Children didn't learn from books, they learned by watching. Some searched for fruit high above the ground, long before ladders ever existed. Others searched beneath the earth for food most people today would never even notice. And sometimes, breakfast could be found inside a beehive. Honey was one of the sweetest rewards, but it was never free. Water was just as important as food. Without it, nothing else mattered. But even a quiet river could hide danger. Finding food wasn't just about working hard, it was about making the right decisions every single day. When most people imagine ancient life, they picture one thing: hunters chasing giant animals across the plains. But that's only part of the story. Most hunts actually failed. Sometimes, the animals escaped, sometimes, the hunters went home hungry. Hunting wasn't a guaranteed meal, it was always a gamble. That's why gatherers were just as important as hunters. In many ancient communities, gathered food supplied most of the daily calories. Everyone had a role. Even children. Learning didn't happen in classrooms. It happened every single day. By the age of 10, most children already knew skills that modern adults would struggle to learn. For ancient humans, survival wasn't someone's profession, it was everyone's responsibility. Finding food was only half the battle. The moment they returned home, another full day's work began. Nothing lasted forever, not even their tools. Every spear needed constant repair. A dull spear could mean a missed hunt. Or something much worse. Stone tools weren't bought, they were made, one careful strike at a time. Making one good stone knife could take hours, to breaking it, only seconds. Even baskets had to be woven by hand. Without them, gathering food became almost impossible. There were no stores, no replacements. If something broke, you fixed it yourself. Shelters also demanded attention. Wind, rain, and time never stopped. Every branch, every knot, every repair helped protect the entire family. Ancient humans didn't clock in or clock out, their work simply ended when the sun did. Finally, the hardest part of the day was over, or so it seemed, because nobody could eat until the food was prepared. Cooking wasn't just about taste, it made dangerous foods safe to eat. Fire transformed hard roots into soft meals and tough meat into valuable energy. Every meal represented an entire day's effort, nothing could be wasted. Even the leftovers had a purpose. Tomorrow's survival started tonight. Keeping the fire alive was one of the most important jobs in the entire camp. If the fire died, someone would have to create it again, a task that could take hours. That meant someone always stayed awake, watching the flames through the night. The work never truly ended, it simply changed. Tomorrow's success was decided by what they did before going to sleep. Ancient children didn't prepare for the future, they lived it from the very beginning. There were no classrooms, nature was the classroom. Every footprint, every sound, every smell was a lesson. One wrong decision could put the whole group in danger. Knowledge was the greatest survival tool ever created. Nobody kept secrets, sharing knowledge kept everyone alive. Stories were more than entertainment, they were survival manuals. Every generation started where the last one finished. That simple idea allowed humans to become smarter with every generation. Ancient childhood wasn't about preparing for life. It was life. For ancient humans, there was no such thing as a weekend. Nature never took a day off. Rain didn't wait, winter didn't wait, predators didn't wait, so neither could they. Every season created new problems and demanded new solutions. The people who adapted survived, the ones who didn't disappeared. Their greatest strength was never speed or sharp teeth, it was learning. Every mistake became a lesson, every lesson made tomorrow easier. Slowly, generation after generation, tiny improvements changed everything. That is how humans began shaping the world, instead of simply living in it. Without realizing it, their everyday work was building the future. And the most surprising part, none of them ever called it a job. Then, something incredible happened. Some humans stopped following food and started growing it. For the first time, food could stay in one place. And if food stayed, people could stay too. No more packing everything every few days. Home finally had a place. Living together changed everything. For the first time, not everyone needed to hunt. Some became builders. Some became tool makers. Some became experts at growing food. Slowly, the first real jobs began to appear. Not because people wanted careers, but because working together made everyone stronger. Ironically, the world's very first jobs were created to make life easier. Today, many people dream about quitting work forever, but ancient humans would never have understood that idea. Because survival wasn't employment. It was simply life. Nobody asked, "What do you do for a living?" Because everyone already knew. Your value was measured by what you contributed to the tribe. Food, shelter, knowledge, protection, everyone gave something. No salaries. No promotions. No resumes, only trust. If someone became sick, others worked harder until they recovered. Because helping one person protected the whole community. Thousands of years later, we still carry that same instinct. Our jobs changed, our tools changed, but working together never did. So, what did ancient humans do before jobs existed? The answer is everything. Every sunrise brought new problems, every sunset marked another victory. They didn't work for promotions, they worked for tomorrow. Their paycheck was another day with the people they loved. Every basket they filled, every shelter they built, every child they taught changed human history. Without realizing it, they were building the foundation of civilization. Everything we call work today started with simple acts of survival. The office, the farm, the workshop, the classroom, they all began here. Our ancestors didn't invent jobs, they invented working together. And perhaps that's the biggest lesson they still have to teach us. Here's something that surprises most people: of ancient humans may have had more free time than we do. Many hunter-gatherer groups spent only part of the day finding food, the rest was spent living. They talked, they laughed, they danced, they told stories. Community wasn't something they scheduled. It was simply their everyday life. No calendars. No alarms, only the rhythm of nature. The sunrise started the day, the sunset ended it. Nature was their clock, their calendar, and their boss. The real goal was never endless work. It was balance. Work, rest, family, learning, everything had its place. Maybe progress isn't about working more, maybe it's about living better. Even today, your brain still carries ancient instincts. We still enjoy gathering around food just like they did thousands of years ago. We still trust the people who stand beside us when life gets difficult. We still learn by watching others long before we master a skill. We still tell stories to pass knowledge from one generation to the next. Technology changed, cities changed, our lives changed, human nature didn't. Deep inside, we're still the same curious humans, searching for a better tomorrow. Our ancestors never imagined the world we live in today. But everything started with one small tribe working together. And perhaps that simple idea is still humanity's greatest invention. The next time you sit down to eat dinner, remember this. Long before restaurants or supermarkets, someone had to find every bite. Every meal represented hours of knowledge and teamwork. Every shelter protected generations, not just one family. Every lesson a parent shared became someone else's future. No one built civilization alone. Millions of tiny efforts, added together, created the modern world. History isn't only about kings or famous battles. It's also about ordinary people doing ordinary things every single day. And perhaps those ordinary moments were the most extraordinary of all. So, the next time someone asks, "What was the first job?" tell them, there wasn't one. There were only people helping each other survive. One basket, one spear, one campfire at a time. Those tiny actions repeated for thousands of years changed our species forever. Civilization wasn't built in a single moment. It grew, one day at a time. Every generation inherited a slightly better world than the one before. And one day, those children would teach children of their own. That chain has never been broken. It's happening right now as someone teaches someone else. And that's why the story of ancient humans is really the story of us. We often imagine ancient humans as primitive, but in reality, they mastered the hardest job of all, staying alive. Every sunrise was uncertain, every sunset was earned. Without offices, without machines, without money, they created the future. Everything we have today exists because someone long ago solved one small problem. And then, someone else improved it. That's how human civilization has always grown. Not through one great invention, but through millions of ordinary days. Maybe that's the real lesson history is trying to teach us. Small actions, repeated every day, can change the world. So, before jobs existed, humans didn't wait for work to be invented. They simply woke up, helped each other, solved the problems in front of them, and little by little, they built the world we live in today. I'm fit.